What's up, everybody? How are you today? You are here again for another fantastic gathering of the Griot session. I'm your girl, Asada. So happy you're tuned in with us this Tuesday morning. That's what time it is right now. But we are in for a treat today, baby. We are going science fiction way. But before we go there, let me pay homage to the force that makes sure we're here, and that's the female solution. If you're not familiar with the female solution, get familiar because I'm going to show you them right now. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the female solution.
All right, we're back, and guess what, yo? Ooh, ooh, this brother has wonderful things for us to experience. His name is Steve Bellinger. But before I bring him on to the stage, let me show you the world we're about to enter. His world, the time traveling world. Take a look.
Imagine being born the son of a slave with the mind of a genius. That was Simi Johnson in the years following the Civil War. After a perilous escape from lynch mobs in Mississippi, he manages to earn a PhD in physics at Tuskegee. And in his research, he discovers the secret of time travel. Simi develops a design for a time machine, but the technology required to make it work does not yet exist. Fast forward 125 years. An African-American college student in Chicago finds Dr. Johnson's plans and builds a time machine. He goes back to the year 1919 to meet the doctor and his beautiful daughter Ollie, who live in Chicago's Black Belt, now known as Bronzeville. But he has chosen an unfortunate time in history and becomes involved in the bloodiest race riot in Chicago's history, the Red Summer Riot. The Chronicle, an urban adventure in time, is the award-winning novel by Steve Bellinger. Get your copy in paperback, Kindle ebook, and audiobook from Amazon, or ask for it at your favorite bookstore. The Chronicle, an urban adventure in time, because there is no fiction like science fiction.
Because there is no fiction like science fiction. I am not going to wait one more second. Let's bring to the stage Steve Bellinger. How are you, brother?
Good morning. Good morning.
Whoa, that is a beautiful piece. Thank you so much for writing it. Big
Well, I'd like
time.
to take a second to pay homage to the young man who did the music, my late
Yes.
brother-in-law, Brian Messiah. He wrote
Nice.
and composed that piece and recorded it. It's amazing. And
Man,
it's
I
become
saw
the Chronicle theme. Yeah.
I love that. And you guys, we are rocking today with Steve Bellinger. He is a sci-fi author. How many brothers can you meet that they are sci-fi author? Can't say that. So, man, my questions are many, but I guess I want to say, and I love that this takes place in Chicago. You would think I'm from Chicago, but I'm a good transplant. But let me just ask, you're from Chicago,
Right.
correct?
Right.
And I want to ask, what is it that makes a boy growing up in Chicago create on this level and keep the
Mm.
city intact? Like, why keep it here in Chicago? What was it that inspired these stories?
Well, I've always been a fan of history and Chicago history,
Okay.
and I like to make things real. The locations are all real. Um,
Mhm.
the The young man is an IIT student, which I was. In fact, the main character is kind of based on me.
Okay.
In the story, he finds the plans for the chronocar at the Hill
Mhm.
Library in
Okay.
Bronzeville.
Okay.
Um, he goes back to the year 1919 to meet the doctor who invented the chronocar, and at the time, he is living at 47th and Vincennes. The beauty of that is that you read the book, and then you walk down the street and you realize that this is where it happened. I've always been into things like that, going to Washington, D.C., and actually seeing the White House, and seeing these things where they really are. And it makes the story all the more real and all the more believable.
And I love that. I love that. I mean, and I think what you were just telling me, where we're going to be having the book fair in February, right
Mhm.
there on 47th and Greenwood. You said
Exactly.
that why is that location significant?
I don't know, it's about a half a mile from where the story happens.
I love that. The beauty of that. Who knew that? I just instinctively, spiritually brought it there. Ooh, I love that. So yeah, look at that, and so, you're dealing with this history. Um, I guess I kind of want to know what made you combine this reality. Okay, we went through slavery, but then what if we could time travel? Like, talk about the concept and where that comes from.
Hmm. Okay, well, I am a big fan of real science.
Okay.
In fact, I would submit to you, I've read a lot of books, seen a lot of movies about time travel, but of the ones that I've seen, they're not really about time travel. They're about experiencing the past or experiencing the future. I have yet to see, other than my novel, a story that actually deals with the fact, the science, the actual um, experience of traveling through time. Because I used to have a problem with the logic of time travel. How can you go back in the past, change something, and then all of a sudden the future's different? So I came up with my own little theory of time travel that has been, in fact, one science fiction author friend of mine paid me the ultimate compliment by saying that my stories actually solve the time travel paradox. I don't know how deep you want to get into that, but
Look, look. Look,
but
y'all.
well, because I mean, think about it. Um, think about time as if it were a piece of recording tape.
Okay.
How can winding it back a couple of years and making a change? How would
Mm,
that change what comes up later?
sure,
Okay?
sure.
The only way that can happen, and this is I'm giving away a little bit of the story.
Okay.
The only way that can happen is that when you go back in time,
Mhm.
you restart time. You erase the
Mm,
future and you restart time. Now what you do can change the future.
wow. See, y'all don't want to play with us today. We gets deep up in here. We deal with future. This whole manipulation of time is a concept that people don't really think about, but it does sort of shift your paradigm about what you're going to do, what you've done. Like people always ask the question, how would you have done things differently? Blah, blah.
Mhm.
Hey, but how about taking that concept and really creating a story and experiences that show that shift? And so I love that you have been in my life here with the Soulful Chicago Book Fair since its inception.
That's true.
And people don't know that. I actually want to share something that I found that is so wonderful. Why don't y'all just take a look at this beauty? Check it out.
I never, I was always
Doing
I'm
today.
good. Good to see you.
It's good to see you.
We ask the permission of our elders to speak. Look, I can't look at that too long because I will be crying on this show. Like,
No, that was great. Yeah, I'm the guy
yeah,
there with no hair.
That's okay. Hey, y'all saw who was at the front of the float, right? Big time.
Yes.
So thankful for that. So
Oh,
glad
that
that
was
you're
that
part
was
of
an
it.
honor. That was an honor.
Yeah, yeah, thank you so much. And I'm like, man, when I found that last night, I was like, ooh, ooh, yay. I have him live. I'm so happy. So we got the Chronicar and your development of that. What year did you come out with this book actually?
Well, it was published in 2015, but
Okay.
it took me about 5 years to write it because um, I approach science fiction in a different way. I do a lot of research.
Okay.
There is, you know, um, I don't know if you're familiar with the old masters of science fiction, Isaac Asimov and Arthur C.
Mhm.
Clarke,
No.
because, well, let me go back. When I was a kid, I was raised by a single mom who
Mhm.
worked at a printing company,
Okay.
and she very much believed in education, and she would sneak books home. She would, well, she would bring books home from the printing company. I thought they were always like, extras or whatever, but she told me that no, she actually stole them. But she brought these books home for us to read. And one of the books she brought home was a book entitled I, Robot by Isaac Asimov. I read that and fell in love with science fiction. And one of
Mm,
the things that Asimov was known for is starting with real science and then morphing that into fiction. And when you do that right, the fiction becomes more believable.
mm,
Now, the Chronic card literally starts off with son of a slave in the year 1888 with the mind of a genius who reads a book written by Isaac Newton,
mm,
and he is able to understand that, and that's where all of this gets started. So I start with the real science of Isaac Newton and morph that into the science fiction of time travel. And as a result, I've had people come up to me and ask me if it's real. And I have to say, no, this is all science fiction. But you start with real science and you morph into science fiction.
mm. See, guys, you see the process. I love one thing I love about Gathering of the Griots. We're not just showing, like, oh, you wrote this book. We're actually looking at that backstory and
Mhm.
understanding how people process ideas enough to put in a book. We got a comment here from Naima Latif, who is the CEO of Female Solutions. She says, there are infinite timelines in reality. Every decision creates a different outcome. You'd love the works of past life regression hypnotherapist Dolores Cannon. Yes, indeed. Thank you for giving us that data because, hey, there are different levels of time that exist, and just even tapping that is a thing. Go ahead. You wanted to say something with that?
No, I was just thinking how what that reminds me of is the fact that something else that people don't consider when they're looking at time travel movies and what have you is how if I travel back in time and change something, it's not just my life I'm changing, I'm literally changing everything.
Wow.
In
Right.
fact, in the follow up to the Chronicar, Time Waits for No One, you begin to realize that when you travel back in time and change things here, you're literally changing everything in the entire universe
Mm, mm,
because
mm.
time is universal.
Right.
I mean,
Wow.
imagine if there is another race of beings on another planet, I've changed their reality also.
Right, right. People are not really clear on that. Now, this is the Chronicar.
That
That
is
the
the
people
Chronicar.
don't know that the Chronicar is the vessel that he traveled in, correct?
Exactly.
Come on, show us that. Show us that.
Well, okay, I
Where
am one
is
of
it?
the original. I'm one of the original fanboys, and um, young man named he has a website where he builds and designs toy starships that he
Wow.
sells, and he did a 3D printing of the Chronicar for
I
me.
love it. I love it. Look at that. The
And
Chronicar.
he did a hell of a job because it also opens up and you can see the interior.
Wow. Wow. A one
My,
seat vessel. You
it's a
cannot
one seat
come with
vessel.
me. I got one seat. I
You
love
got
that.
one seat, and again, he did an incredible job. And it is based on the description of what it would be like in the book.
Wow, look at that. I love that. So y'all see that, right? The Chronicar is a thing. It is the vessel being used. And now your concept, and you said that you told me you're a Trekkie, you're into science
Oh
fiction.
yes.
Isn't there some connection between another science fiction entity who had a time travel
Well,
reality.
I am a very big fan of Doctor Who, even though I question some of the science there. Yeah, this picture was commissioned by a very talented artist. On the left is my one of my main characters, Dr. Johnson, the inventor of the chronocar,
Yes.
standing in front of his chronocar, and he is confronting my favorite, Doctor Who.
I love it.
And I'm very particular of Doctor Who. I'm a big fan of Tom Baker. And you see, I have my models there too, the model of the chronocar, and I have my TARDIS.
That's right. That's right. In the flesh. Now, didn't you say you met this gentleman as well?
Oh yeah, well, again, I'm a longtime sci-fi fan. I've attended all sorts of science fiction conventions, and one of my most valuable collector's items is I went to a convention where Tom Baker was the guest speaker. Um, he wasn't supposed to meet with the general public, but as it turned out, he came out and said hello to some of us, and I had a picture taken with him. Fantastic photograph. 30 years later, I sent that picture and he autographed it for me. And it sits on my shelf and it is a very valuable part of my collection.
Hercules, 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 for real. Like he's for real been in it, you guys. Not just and I love that you took your experiences, but you kept writing. And this wasn't that long ago that you started writing these books, which is great because since we met, I think the Chronicar was the only book out. You have four more books
Yes, yes,
on the table. So I
yes, I
want
do.
us to take a little look at that because the next one was Time Waits for No One, correct?
Exactly.
You guys, let's take a look at that book.
Time travel is incredibly dangerous. Building a time machine is surprisingly simple. In 2015, Tony Carpenter, a black college student, stumbled upon the plans for a time machine conceived by Dr. Simi Johnson, genius scientist and son of a slave. Tony's visit to 1919 to meet the doctor turned into disaster and resulted in a startling, tragic event. Now, time has worked its way back to 2012. A new Tony is about to be hit with a real blast from the past. He chances upon Dr. Johnson's granddaughter, who has a story that he can hardly believe and evidence of a journey to the past that he can't deny. But space-time is damaged whenever someone travels to the past. Can they stop all the time travelers before everything goes to hell? Time Waits for No One, The Chronicar Chronicles, is the mind-bending novel by award-winning author Steve Bellinger. Get your copy in paperback, ebook, or audiobook on Amazon, or ask for it at your favorite bookstore. Time Waits for No One, The Chronicar Chronicles, because there is no fiction like science fiction.
Hercules, 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 Hercules.
I'd
I
like to
love
mention,
that.
if I may, the
Please
narrator is my wife, Dr. Donna Smith Bellinger. She does an
see.
excellent job.
Look, wifey, you getting some props today. Thank you. You know, I asked about your wife, and I think it's important to say this because when I think of you, I really don't just think of you. I think of you both because
Mhm.
I met you both, and I think you are also promoting. Do you all have a publishing company or something like that as well?
Well, we do. Well, her books are self-published, or we publish them together. My
Gotcha.
books, except for one, was published by an independent publisher.
Okay. Okay.
And if I could just take 2 seconds,
Come on.
this is her first book,
Nice.
Glossing at Hello.
I love that.
And we just a few months ago published her second book.
Yay.
Sales is about wait and see. Do you want to get paid now or eventually?
Oh, I
She
love that.
she is a business coach, a fractional sales manager. The woman is a genius. And it has
Oh,
nothing
man.
to do with the fact that she married me.
There she is, you guys. And I just know her to be a great, like, I don't even see as a supporter, but like I know you both. And so I love that you collaborate and that, having your wife there. He said a
Oh,
little earlier,
absolutely.
yeah. He was like, I do her video. He said she got a good price. I was like, Hercules, Hercules, yes. A kiss on the forehead, yay! But that's awesome. I'm so glad that you all are collaborating and working on your books together. And I just had to share, so people could see. No, this is a real thing. This is while you're there getting awards. So talk a little bit about this process. We went into Time Waits for No One. We did the Chronicar, but you won an award, correct?
I
For the Chronicar?
Well, the Chronicar won a number of awards. It was very interesting. Um, I started to get good reviews, and I realized maybe I'd done something right.
Yes.
So I entered it into the Best Indie Book Awards, which is what you see there, and
Mm,
surprised the hell out of me. It won.
wow.
It came in first place,
I
and
love
then
it.
that first picture you showed, there was a Reader's Favorite, which is another group. They're located in Miami, and they sponsor a contest. And I thought, well, let me enter this thing, and if I place anywhere, I'll fly
Uh-huh.
down and pick up my thing. And I was shocked to death when I found out that I had won first place in the young adult science fiction category.
Look at that. Look at that.
So
Congratulations. Big
it was
time.
it, it was validation. I wasn't just
What?
lucky.
Beyond measure validation. Look, I told you I might make you cry. You better get that tissue.
No, that happened when I saw the first copy of my book come off the press.
I feel you. I feel you. Now, let me ask, because there's a different cover than what I saw in the beginning when I first met you.
Right.
And I love the old one as well. But what was the reason for the change? This is a great cover as well.
Well, that publisher went out of business.
I see. I
So
see.
I found another publisher. And the thing is, I love this cover, but I
Yeah,
also love the new one.
I do too.
I'm not
Yeah,
sure which one I like better. This one is excellent, and the other one is great.
yeah,
And if this happened because again, the first publisher went out of business,
yeah.
and the second publisher was able to produce audiobooks for me also.
Um,
So it was just a whole change there.
okay, I love it. It was great. And I mean, well, anybody that has that copy has the vintage copy.
Exactly. There's only a
Vintage.
limited number of those available. I've only
That's
got
right.
about 15 or 20 on my shelf.
I already know. Y'all better cut. Look, $100 a piece. You want one of those? $100 a piece. He has them.
Well, one of the things that I really think is cool is
Hmm.
that you can buy the book used on eBay.
Hey, hey, isn't that something?
I often told people that I would consider myself having arrived when I see my book sitting on the discount shelf in the bookstore. It's been around for that long.
It's been
But
around for that long. I
but
love
but,
it.
but seeing people selling used copies on eBay for 25 bucks, that just I don't know.
Hey, it's part of this life. You know what I mean?
That's true.
What
It's
we
exciting.
Part of this life, and it puts you in the midst of so many. Speaking of which, look at this child right here. I said, wait a minute, who was this fan talking about the Chronic car? Do you know her, or did she just
No,
have want to talk
I
about
just
the car?
I recently got involved with TikTok and Book Talk,
Yes,
and I'm slowly getting some traction there. And
nice.
she is just one of many people that have discovered my books.
I love that. Look, I might have to talk to you. Book talk. Where is that? I need to
Well,
get on that.
it's TikTok. It's a subset of TikTok. You're familiar with
Mm.
TikTok itself,
Of
right?
course, yeah. My daughter. That's all she looks at. That's
Well,
it.
my only reason for getting involved with TikTok was to get involved with people involved with books and writing, and that
Got
whole
you.
subgroup is called Book Talk.
Wow, look at that. I'm going to go do my research. And then not only her, but you actually have traveled. Talk about time travel. No, we talking about global travel, y'all. Look at my man is got this dude got a whole series of videos talking about Steve Bellinger's book. So go ahead, and how did this happen?
Well, again, this is a young man. I just saw him on YouTube, and I just thought I would find out what he was all about. And he is actually very well known internationally
Mm,
as a book reviewer, and
wow.
he has reviewed all of my books,
I
and
love it.
he does a great job.
He does a great job. Now, you guys, let me tell you, you can go and scrounge the website of Steve Bellinger. I'm talking about, I'm using that word because I was in all kind of parts, and there are so many aspects to your website. You did such a great job at making sure we experience your book in terms of its videos, interviews. You even have podcasts on it. Talk about this a little bit before we go to commercial break. You talked about how now you're a digital creator, but based on how long you've been rocking this, shoot, you are analog creator. What is that? Talk about that a little bit. That was funny to me.
Well, again, digital creators are people who create video, audio, and whatever,
Yeah,
digitally.
yeah.
But I started in this back in the 70s.
Mm.
If you go to my website, you'll see the recording studio that I built in my apartment with reel-to-reel equipment and mixers and microphones and all of that stuff. I actually produced radio dramas back in the 1970s. And little known fact, oddly enough, for the people who even get this, my magnum opus is a radio drama entitled The Day of the Martians, which is a modern version of the War of the Worlds, a la Orson Welles,
Wow.
and where the Martians land in Elgin, Illinois, and storm Michigan Avenue.
Wow.
And I have been told that it is better than the original. And
Wow.
that it took me 10 years from conception to production. And that is I still think that's the greatest thing I've ever done.
Wow.
Now,
Wow.
what
And
you have,
they can find that on your website?
oh, it's on the website. You can actually listen to it. It's also available on something called the Mutual Audio Network. It's a podcast where people present their audio work, and I'm sort of featured there as one of the. I think I'm the only person who has stuff that was produced using analog equipment, reel-to-reel tape. Now, the thing you were showing there, the
Yeah,
one
it's just
code,
short stories.
yeah, those are short stories written by me mostly, and read by other people. I
Mm,
describe it as original short stories read by original people. There
okay.
are a little bit of sound effects. There is sort of an Alfred Hitchcock approach. The coolest story on there, and this is the power of the internet and Facebook. There's a story on there called "The Assistant." It
Mm,
was written by a young black woman who lives in Japan, and the person who reads it is a young black woman who lives in the UK. I have never met these ladies face to face. One of my goals is to actually meet them, but through online collaboration, there is this really wonderful production, and it's one of the best ones out there.
wow. Wow. And I love that people love your work. When your work can play a bigger game than just them reading it, but people want to read it, be heard,
Sure.
reciting it. Even when you watch the interviews by the guy from Africa,
Hmm.
he is sitting there, y'all, with the book and reading messages from the book. He is sitting there reading them and really doing this a real analysis. So, I mean, the fact that your stories are compelling enough to make people want to talk about them. Thank you so much for being that and doing that. That excellence is not easy to find all the time.
Yeah, make me
Know that.
blush over here.
We love that. So, what I want to say, guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. But when we come back, we actually have more excellence to go through because what I told you, Steve Bellinger has more books than when I first met him. And so, taking this concept of time travel and going into other areas, I love it. We're going to go over it. But first, let's take a quick commercial break. Y'all don't go nowhere. We'll be right back after these messages. Stay tuned. Let me find the commercial. Here we go.
Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair.
Hey family, this is Charles Humphrey of MCH Publishing, and I'm here with Asada, and we at the Soulful Chicago Book what?
This is the Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair, slamming.
We getting down in Hyde Park. Just run it down, my sister. Just tell us, for the people, a little bit about what we're doing here today and why.
You know, this is the Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair, and this month is very important. I feel like we don't give it the type of recognition that it needs, but beyond that, I do all things literary, and we have so many ancestors that have taken a tradition of writing and done great things. Well, we have those of us that are carrying on that tradition, and nobody knows about them until now. So the Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair is allowing us to tell our stories according to ourselves for our own benefit. And it's just beautiful. I wish you could have been here today if you wasn't here, but if you were, oh, it's been amazing. People came in consistently, children, and we have children's authors, we have nonfiction authors, we have fiction authors. This is really good, and it's about taking our own power in our own hands and doing what we do on the literary tip, though.
Right.
I gotta work, but I can't help it. Everything going too smooth. Not just about bring my Africans in like this. Bring in the Africans. All right, y'all. It is coming. The Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair. Let me show you. For sure, for sure. Look, I'm gonna show you big. Forget this. Look at that. Yes, Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair is on its way. February 15th. Please put that on your calendars. That's a Sunday. And so, man, it's going to be everything, the entertainment. I even think there are some events coming up the night before that people are trying to do poetry events leading into the Black History Book Fair. So definitely put this on your calendar. We also need y'all to know we do take donations. We need them. Go ahead, scan this QR code. Go ahead on. You can scan that QR code if that's easy for you. Or at the bottom of the page, you see it says donations. If you want to do Cash App, $ Asada Thrives. Or if you're going to do Zelle, just send it to my first book's email, actually, beatingblackkids@gmail. So donations, donations, donations. We actually thrive on the donations of people coming to the book fair because that's just how it is. The community makes us thrive. So thank y'all so much for always being there. And I'm not going to take another minute. I'm going to come on the big screen and say we today are dealing with an author that I'm just loving his work. He is phenomenal when it comes to captivating people in this genre. And you really don't find a lot of people in this genre. So we are going to bring Steve Bellinger to the stage again. Thank you for being here today, brother. I appreciate you wholeheartedly for being here today.
Well, I'd like to mention something else about the Chronicar.
Come
Um,
on.
it is available. It is in the public library. It's in the Chicago Public Library, Evanston Public Library, Oak Park Public Library. It's even in the library in Los Angeles. Um,
Wow.
but I did a presentation. Again, the main character is an IIT student. I
Okay.
was an IIT student, and I did a
Mhm.
presentation on campus when it came out, and they requested a couple of copies. So you will
Mm.
now find a copy of the Chronicar in the IIT Student Library
Wow.
and in the university archives.
Wow. Look at that,
Blew my
y'all.
mind.
You
Blew my
see
mind.
this? You see this? This is something that people aim for, but this is something that you've actually done, period, point blank. So please, guys, do learn that if you got a book up your sleeve, this is the path you can take. If you have books out, you basically, this is how it happens. Now, let me just ask a quick question. How did
Mhm.
you get in the libraries? How did you, people would love to make that happen.
Well, it happened by doing presentations at the library, and then
Gotcha.
I would donate a copy, and
Nice.
that's how I got into the Chicago Public Library and all these others. But I don't know how I got into the University of Chicago Library. It's just there.
Look, it's just there.
It's just
Thank you very much.
I think there was just an amount of it just happened.
Nice.
People are starting to recognize it, and it's showing up in places.
I love that because we had a guest on last week who was in a lot of stores, but it's just like you
Mhm.
just got to make a decision to put it in these places. How did you get in Barnes and Nobles? I just asked them what I got to do a signing, and then
Exactly.
you were there. You know,
Exactly. Exactly. You have to. If you don't ask, you don't get. It's something that my wife taught me years
that's
ago.
right. That's right. She said that her grandmother used to say, closed mouths don't get fed. So, you got to make that happen in that light, big times.
And I do want to mention, the book is available paperback, ebook, audiobook. If
Mm.
if you're too cheap to buy a copy, there's a system called Hoopla, which you can use your library card to check out the ebook version.
Wow.
So something you should look into.
Look, I think I'm gonna go to school with him, y'all. I need to come sit at his house and be like, okay, hold on. What you say that website was?
It's
What'd you
called
say that was?
Hoopla. It's a website. It's also a phone app,
Not a problem. What?
and you can go there and you can check out movies. You can check out
Wow.
all sorts of things.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm so glad that you know about this. I'm glad that your books are there. The closest thing I've done to this, I went on a cruise. We went to the
Mhm.
ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao,
Oh yeah.
and we had a night, literally that sort of celebrating Black books on the
Hmm.
island. I think we were on the island of Curacao,
Hmm.
and the library there took my book and put it in the library in Curacao.
That's
Yay!
fantastic. That's fantastic. That's how it happens.
That's how
That's
it
exactly
happened.
how it happens.
Exactly. So you just got to be ready to tell the world about your books, no question.
Whenever we travel, we carry copies of our books with us.
Nice. You must. You must, because you like you never know, and then you can know. You can make it happen. So I don't want to delay. I want to show people more of your work. I want to
Okay.
show them I love this book about the paranormal. So let's take a look at this book, guys. It just titillating. Hold on. Let's take a look.
If ghosts can visit us, can we visit them? Ron Lewis's education and career are firmly rooted in science, but a curse that dates back to the days of slavery has plagued him since childhood. Born in a black ghetto in the 1960s, Ron's pragmatism is at odds with his experience. Whether it's the trials of an interracial relationship or the supernatural forces that he can't see to avoid. Just when he thinks he has found peace of mind, Ron's life is upended by tragedy. He is given the opportunity to use science to communicate with the dead and finally confront the evil that has plagued him and his family for generations. That's when all hell breaks loose. Edge of Perception, a paranormal science fiction love story by award-winning author Steve Bellinger. Get your copy in paperback, Kindle ebook, and audiobook from Amazon, or ask for it at your favorite bookstore. Edge of Perception, a paranormal science fiction love story, because there is no fiction like science fiction.
Hercules,
There
Hercules,
is a
Hercules.
very strange story behind this book.
Come on and give it to us.
So I am a man of science,
Okay.
and I never thought much about ghosts and things like that
Okay.
until one night my wife and I were watching this program on TV, The Ghost Hunters.
Okay.
And their theory is that ghosts are actually electromagnetic in nature. That connected science to spirits, and now I have a science fiction story. In fact, this whole book is about someone who figures out a way to communicate with spirits using electronics. Now, the other bizarre thing about this book is that it's very cathartic because, except for the paranormal part, it's almost um, it's almost I can't think of the word. It's about my experiences. I literally wrote the young man grows up on the West Side in the '60s, which I did, and a lot of what he experienced is what life was like for me. The video talks about the trials of an interracial relationship. I was in one when I was back in the '70s, and really discovered racism when that happened. Um, so it was a very strange thing. So a lot of things in that book are based on fact, not the paranormal part, but the other stuff. Now, the paranormal part, some of it is suggested by people that I knew and trusted who told me of paranormal experiences they had had. So taking them at their word. In fact, one strange experience, young lady I was dating, this was back in the '70s, and she was just having her phone installed that day. This is when you had the wired phones in your home. So I thought, I'll be her first call. I pick up the phone, dial her number, and it doesn't work. This call is not available. So I go to her apartment later on, and without saying a word, she hands me a note. 10:15, tried to call, couldn't get through. She nailed it on the head. I don't know where these things come from, but they do exist. So this is my catharsis. This is my how I deal with spirituality
Nice.
in
I
a way
believe.
that is scientifically based.
See? Period, point blank. And I love that. Yes. Electromagnetic energy, ghosts. Look, Naima says here, I'll have to talk to your guest after the show about the nonfiction book I wrote of my experience in visiting ghosts.
I'd be
Mhm.
very interested.
Look at that. See, I'm trying to tell you, we always inspire people in ways we don't know, guys.
Hmm.
And you think that you're just dealing with the subject matter that you have, but how you're being experienced is a thing. And you actually give people the courage to come out and be and say the things that they've been holding on to for so long without,
Hmm.
really support in that particular thing. So, oh, you're doing a wonderful thing. And I love this edge of perception concept. I love the description of the sci-fi paranormal love story. What?
Yeah, the amount of truth or things that are based on reality would freak you out if I told you.
Oh, I love a freak out. We love a freak out. Make a whole book on the freak out part. Come on. Wow.
It was almost easier to write because a lot of it was based on my personal experience.
Wow. I love that. I love that. And I want y'all to also, if you're watching, look at how you take your personal experiences and create a
Mhm.
world from it. That's what books are about. People's ideas, real experiences, imagined, future, but to actually sit down, it takes courage to put it in a book though, because then you do have to have people want to read it. And once it starts though, it's like a ripple effect. And so you have more. Now, I want to show a word because we getting ready to confront this word in 1 minute. Now, this is before I show y'all the book, this is what I want y'all to know. This right here. Look at this. Dystopia. It means a society characterized by human misery as squalor, oppression, disease, and overcrowding. Now, that's I got, of course, because I said, what in the world does that word mean? But this is the why. Because you got a book, Apocalypse, the digital dystopia is coming.
And the
Talk
key
a little
word
bit.
is oppression in this case.
Wow, wow. So talk a little bit about this book and its impact,
Well,
purpose.
well, it's an AI thriller that I wrote like almost 5 years ago, 6 years ago,
Wow.
before a
Wow.
lot of this stuff went on.
Wow.
And the whole concept behind it is people being controlled by their personal devices
Mm,
without realizing it. Um, in the story, you'll probably run a video there in a second, you'll see it. But in the story, this major corporation comes out with virtual reality glasses that are controlling people's minds. And some people think this is my scariest book because they see it as being real. Now we talk about. I consider this a science fiction book that I wrote for boomers because the main character is a retired computer geek like myself.
okay.
And although a lot of people enjoy it, I kind of wrote it from that point of view because the main character is a curmudgeon. He's a guy who's been working with computers for years,
Hmm.
and this guy doesn't even own a tablet,
Okay.
even though he that technology exists. You know
Hmm.
he, but his grandson gets him into it, and all of a sudden things are happening that he can't explain.
Wow. Wow.
And it's one of my favorites. It's one of the best of the audiobooks
Mm,
of the series. And
wow.
and I'll say one other thing for anyone who chooses to read it. Are you familiar with the term Easter egg?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, a hidden feature in a movie or in whatever. There is an Easter egg in Apocalypse that no one has ever gotten.
Ooh.
You have to read the book, and if you read the book and if you pay attention, it is there. Once I show people, oh, they get it, but no one's figured it out on their own yet.
Challenge. for you guys out there. Challenge,
If,
find the Easter egg.
if anyone
And
finds it, email me, contact me through the my website. I would love to know if you ever caught it.
wow, I love this concept. How real is it? Because, when I look at I was just telling Steve that I am close to people now in my life who are familiar with AI and have even taken one of my presentations, put it in another language, but I'm
Mhm.
speaking the language. So I'm fluent in Spanish. I'm also fluent in French. And it just floors me. It's like, what? That's me talking, And so this whole concept of our ability to recreate again a reality in our reality. Now we're creating realities that aren't real, but
And
making them
again,
real.
I wrote this thing before this stuff was even available.
I love it. I
You know,
love an advanced mind. I love an advanced mind. And that's what we are looking at. The fact that you touch this stuff beforehand. Where do you think this comes from? This whole interest in science and making science a part of entertainment. Where does that
it's
come from?
well, again, it started way back when my mom brought these books home.
Those
I've
books.
always been interested in science fiction and real science. I stayed up all night and watched the men walk on the moon.
Wow.
Okay,
Wow. Yeah.
and here's another little thing. You know who Buzz Aldrin is? He was the second man to walk on the moon.
Ah, okay. Got you.
I
Got you.
met him 10 years ago.
Oh, we're Hercules,
I mean, that
Hercules.
blows my mind. But again, I went to the Space Center because I wanted to see the space shuttle.
Wow.
At the museum at the Smithsonian, there is the actual model that was used in the original Star Trek series. I wanted to see that, and it is there. So my love for science fiction comes from an interest in real science.
Mhm.
And in fact, if I could share something with you here, um,
Sure.
there is a very definite, specific definition of science fiction that I like
Okay.
to use.
Okay.
In science fiction, the science has to be so central to the story that if you remove it, the story falls apart.
Okay.
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 Star Wars is not science fiction.
Oh, talk about it. Get it.
What is Star Wars about? Star Wars is about rebels fighting an evil empire.
Mm,
You could
mm-hmm,
tell the same story using ships and swords.
mm-hmm,
It's almost King Arthur when you talk about the Force and magic and things like that.
mm-hmm.
But in Star Trek, if you take away the spaceship, the Enterprise, you don't have a whole lot.
Wow. Never thought about that. Look at that.
And not all of Star Trek is science fiction, but
Gotcha.
um, but and again, I like to take a little bit of real science and morph it into the fiction. Makes it
Yeah.
a lot more believable.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can't tell the difference.
I love that. I love that
But
because
I get into arguments with people over my definition of science fiction because a lot of things that are out there, you know, people have defined science fiction as anything that's weird and unusual.
mm-hmm.
Harry Potter is not science fiction.
I feel
It,
you. Yeah.
it's great stuff,
Yeah.
but it's not science fiction.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Got you. And I love what you're doing because I feel like as a people, we are very scientific as a people.
Hmm.
Like we are black matter. Like things that
Hmm.
people think are deja vu and this and that or like it's so regular to us.
Hmm.
There's a book called Of Water and the Spirit by Patrice Malidoma Some. And
Hmm.
this brother's from Africa, but when he talks about his rites of passage process, that he didn't get to go through, but he went through as an older person. Boy, those experiences are scientific. I'm talking
Yeah.
about walking through trees and doing all kind of things that don't usually happen in
Hmm.
the regular realm, right? But
Hmm.
they are happening in our everyday realm. So I love your dealing with the subject matter and taking us there. Because I think that we got this saying, I'm a Scientologist, so we got this saying that
Hmm.
says, L. Ron Hubbard said, Scientology is not here to help you learn anything new. It is here to help
Hmm.
you remember what you chose to forget.
Very interesting. That's very good. That's true.
That's a
That's true.
beautiful thing to what you chose to forget. Oh my God. So
Hmm.
you know this. He was like, if you didn't know this already, this wouldn't make any sense to you. So I love that you're taking us there into science thinking about time travel because I mean who takes the time to sit down enough to imagine that, to look at what would it be like, how would you change the course of everything in
Hmm.
the universe. I love that. You have more. I want to show another video of your work. Y'all, this might be the last video I have of his. Oh God, I could have sat here all day looking at them, but let's take a look.
Before you leave
Come on,
Apocalypse, I do want to mention
come
another
on.
sort of an honor, and you'll find this on my website. It's kind of buried, but there is a scholarly database put together by a gentleman at Penn State University, where he lists all of these books about utopias and dystopias dating
Mhm.
back to the 1500s, and my book is part of that database.
Mm, mm,
That blew my mind when I found that.
Hercules, Hercules. See,
So it is
period.
nice. It is nice to be recognized and honored.
It is nice to be recognized and honored as we are doing today. You guys, if you're just joining us, we are talking to Steve Bellinger, who is a sci-fi writer, baby. You can see that at the bottom of the screen. Let's take a look at this final book. He has a couple of more, or one more, whatever. We're getting to it, but let's just take a look at this video and talk about the creation of this as well. All right, all you book people out there, you better take notice, baby. You see, my man Steve Bellinger has those videos for those books, trailers. I love them. Talk about this book and it's coming. Where does it come from? What made you write this?
I have always loved disaster movies,
Okay,
going all the way back to earthquake and airport and all of that old stuff there.
okay, okay.
I've always imagined we take so much of our world for granted. Most people don't even understand that we have a magnetic field around our planet that protects us from radiation from the sun and elsewhere. In this book, that sort of breaks down. There is a very magnetic comet. The magnetic field on the planet is breaking down. I have a scene where the Hancock Center becomes a giant magnet,
Mm,
and cars and things are banging into it. Again, science fiction, but there are elements of our existence that we don't even think about.
mm-hmm,
Part of
mm-hmm.
this came from, you're familiar with the aurora borealis,
Yes, I've
the
heard of that.
northern lights,
Mm-hmm.
which we've actually been able to see. I've had pictures that
I
I took.
know. I'm so
Well,
sad I didn't see it. I tried.
but about 30, 40 years ago, it was so strong that it was visible overhead.
Wow.
I lived in the suburbs at that time, so I had a good dark sky, and I saw that. It blew my mind, and I
Wow.
started thinking about what that's all about, and
Mm-hmm.
that is the magnetic field protecting us from solar radiation.
Look at that. Look at that.
What happens if that breaks down? And
Mm.
again, I use a little bit of reality because there is a comet that passed by Mars that had similar properties that caused a little bit of damage there. So what if it happened here? And that's what this is all about.
Wow, look at this. And I love the cover of that too. I want to show that while we're sitting here
Oh yeah,
because look at that. Look at those objects. Look at that the comet, the core of the earth, the magnetic field and that this is something we take it for granted, this whole concept of looking at even magnetism in our lives.
exactly,
You see
exactly.
it all the time, guys, when you rub your feet on the rug and you get shocked and all that stuff. But like it's a real thing. Phil Coran, he was a musician, astronomer, astrologer here in Chicago. And he told me one time that um, the electromagnetic energy of Lake Michigan pulls people to Chicago for reasons that they don't know why, which made sense to me because I'm from New York. I don't know why I'm here. I mean, I went to Northwestern, but I'm here. Like I really am gravitated to being here. Look out my window. I live on the water, no question. But you dealing with, again, subject matter that is there in front of us, but we haven't taken the time to make it relevant on another level. And you have done that. And so kudos to you for doing this book and getting this energy of it. This is the last book that you created, correct?
Right, right.
Got you.
I try to, with all of them, I try to do a little bit of teaching. There is some geoscience and some space travel history in
Yes.
this book.
Yes.
It's necessary to build up to the story. So
Yes. We got 2 more minutes left. I want you to, okay, it went by so fast. What is going on?
it did. It
I
did.
mean, my gosh, I want you to give us some words of wisdom. What's the future of the books of what you're doing? Do you have another book? You don't need another book if you got enough to fulfill the world, fill the world. But give us some words of wisdom as we go off.
Well, I'm toying around with another chapter of the Chronicle series.
Okay. Okay.
But what I'm actually doing right now is I just completed a screenplay for the Chronicle, and I'm working with some people. I have a mentor, and there's a possibility that something may happen. I
Wow.
learned that if you need to get something done, you have to do it yourself. People were telling me that my book should be audiobooks, so I worked to get that done.
Made that done.
People are saying it needs to be a movie. Well, so I'm writing a screenplay.
I love that. I love that. And that's the direction. Funny you're saying that we're going in with the book fair,
Hmm.
Soulful Chicago Book Fair. This will be the third book to film that I've been exposed to
Hmm.
in less than a month. And it's like, what's
Interesting.
happening right
Interesting.
now? What's happening? And so I don't know. Will we become a film house for authors?
Well, times are changing. I mean, because
Yeah.
there's a demand for more content because of streaming television.
Yep. You got that right. You
So
got that right.
it opens up the possibilities.
I love the possibilities. And you guys, thank you for being a part of this possibility. This has been Gathering of the Griots, rocking with Steve Bellinger, sci-fi author. There is no fiction like science fiction. That's embedded in my head now.
That
So
means it
thank
worked.
you. That means it worked. Thank you, wifey. Mwah. I looked for your
Exactly.
voice even in the last video. I was like, where's her voice? But anyway, yeah, so there's no fiction like science fiction. Thank you so much for being here today, Steve.
Thank you,
And
Asada.
Steve will be at the Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair. Get ready to be there. Meet him. Get your autographed copies. And let's do this thing today. Spread the word. And we're out. Peace, guys.
Live
Thanks,
long and
Steve.
prosper.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. I should have done that. Okay.